Yes. The big event is in front of us. What has happened? A well thought out, a terrifically planned retaliation, a form of revenge, I would say, taken from Pakistan. Operation Sindoor, a fantastic name, and maybe I can say a kind of tribute, a kind of solace to the 26 killed souls who were killed, who were gunned down by the terrorist on 22nd April, out of which most of them were Indians, one Nepali, 25 Indians, one Nepali. But dear friends, now that we have attacked, an attack lasting for 25 minutes only, in 25 minutes we have shaken, we have stirred Pakistan, we have taken a revenge, and at the same time have shown the seeds of deterrence, which I think after Pathankot attacks, after almost 6 years, we have given Pakistan an answer. But now that we have done this, what's there? What next? What will happen next? So we are here to discuss what could be the next steps that could be taken. At the same time, what in timing I would say. Mock drills was supposed to happen today, and when everybody was busy in mock drills, almost 14 days from 22nd of April, by the morning everybody is waking up to this news that India has attacked Pakistan. Let's quickly get into the details how this came into the media. A press release was given by Defense Ministry, which I would like to quote two things of this. What was mentioned there: no Pakistani military facilities have been targeted, restraint in selection of target and method of execution. After the retaliation, there came two theories. One, many people from Pakistan called it as act of war. However, the way it was planned, it was not to be an act of war, and I'll tell you the reason for that. An act of war happens normally when you cross into the enemy territory. But the day it was carried out, we did not cross the border. We just used precise missiles to target Pakistan. Volume can be raised a bit. I just hope the volume is fine. Devdi, is the volume fine? I'll be taking up the questions. All your questions you can shoot me. I'll be taking them at the end. However, as I told you, coming back to this thing again, we did not target any military facilities. Our selection of target and method of execution was precise where terrorist hideouts were taken care of. Now moving next, Operation Sindoor. As you know, in total 9 sites across Pakistan and POK were targeted. Pakistan and POK, and most of these sites were related with Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba, whose hand it is believed, or it was found out when the investigation was done after the Pahalgam attacks, that these two organizations are involved in the attacks. And as the reports and the videos which are coming out in the media suggest that casualties from the Pakistani side are belonging from where we targeted. And of course, once again, no matter how much I praise the name, mission, Operation Sindoor, given that it wiped out the kind of killing it happened, there are two aspects to that killing. One, the way the killings were executed, it showed Hinduphobia, you can say, because the religion was asked and people were targeted on the basis of that. And secondly, only males were targeted, and the point which would hurt anybody, that we all were listening to those interviews where one lady comes and says that they just let me go. They just let me go. Talk to your prime minister, or let the women were let to go to tell this barbaric tale. And in retaliation, the whole mission was named as Operation Sindoor. Now, moving ahead, these were the 9 facilities which we're talking about. We were targeted. Out of these 2, I'll say this Bhavalpur, and one would be this Mundrike, Muridke are the Lashkar-e-Toiba hideouts, Bhavalpur, Jaish-e-Mahmood. So these are the 9 sites which were targeted across POK and Pakistan. So sites again, once again, Bhavalpur, Muridke, Tehrakalan, Shialkot, Barnala, Kotli again, and 2 locations in Kotli and 2 locations in Muzaffarabad. Now coming next, damage assessment and India's preparedness. Now, damage assessment, as it has been coming out from the Indian side, as it has been very categorically said, no casualties as of now. When the operation took place, from in those 25 minutes, we have had no casualties. None of our airplanes or none of our casualties happened. But on the Pakistan side, all the 9 sites which were hit, we have the visuals, we have reports, we have audio video confirmation that these sites were hit. Casualties are there. Though the casualties, as has been reported, I was listening to one of the press conference which was happening on the Pakistani side. They said that mosque, women and children have been attacked. I do not deny this thing, but the fact remains, wherever the terror hideouts are, casualties of such type are collateral damage. These things happen, but the casualties have happened on the Pakistan sides. This are the majorly the terrorist hideout, especially with related to Masood Azhar. On the India's preparedness, I would say it took us 14 days. I would say 14 days were there. I was reading to Twitter accounts of many Pakistani journalists, and they believed, as has been the case so far in the history or in the relationship of India and Pakistan, that India would just talk and talk, would not retaliate. So when these 14 days passed, there was this thing among the Pakistani journalists that India is not going to retaliate. And when the retaliation happened, we were not only precise with our targets, but we did one special thing, that the social media regulation, which we already banned, so that we could avoid the disinformation warfare. The disinformation which could have happened from that side, we avoided that. Next, you can say the military preparedness of ours was top-notch. And next, the mock drills. Many of you would be remembering, not remembering, like I think like whatever cities you people belong to, all those who are watching, mock drills would be happening, and this was, I think, a perfect move. This gave 2 things. Just imagine, in case if Pakistan would have retaliated, or Pakistan plans to retaliate in the coming days, these mock drills are going to help us. And at the same time, these mock drills were signaling that something of this sort could happen. But India being India, what was going on? IPL was going on. So in the noise of IPL, all such things, they don't get this much of limelight. So this thing, the mock drills, our preparedness and military, the psychologically Indians were better prepared. I would say the social media regulation was better. So on each and every front, let it be on each and every front, we were better prepared than Pakistan. Pakistan has faced damages. Now, moving ahead, now comes the question, will Pakistan retaliate? There's a phrase I like to quote, that is catch 22. Now, no matter what Pakistan is going to do, if it decides not to retaliate, it is going to face a very tough scenario in its own country. There would be dissatisfaction among people. Not that people want war, but such kind of things hits the psyche of your people. And if people are of understanding nature, if they could see the chronology, what was the cause, what was the reaction, then it could be that they might understand. But given that there would be reaction within Pakistan, which would be difficult to control. And now, given that if Pakistan decides to retaliate, it would be a perfect catch-22 situation for Pakistan. Why so? It will be falling in the trap that has been said, that has been made for Pakistan. Pakistan herself would be falling into the trap. However, there are many dimensions associated with it. For example, when this news started coming up, as we discussed, many people from the Pakistani side term this as an act of war, a thing that would be taken revenge of. But by the time Yuning happened, you all must have seen across all the social media and the reports which are coming in, Pakistan is like, if you're not going to escalate the situation, if India is not going to escalate the situation, we are fine with it. Fine in the sense, the status quo could be maintained what it is right now. So Pakistan's retaliation will depend upon many factors, which we are going to see next. Pakistan stance, as I told you, in the morning it was like act of war. By the time Yuning happened, they were like, let's maintain the status quo. We are not going to escalate it from our own end. Now, possible forms of retaliation. Now, retaliation in warfare, when usually it happens, it is never the case that if somebody is punching you, you punch them then and there on. In one of these statements from the Pakistani side, it was quoted that we will choose the time and place of our retaliation. And time and place they would be choosing, it could be also that it would not be a retaliation which would be normally the threat, nuclear war, or on the possibilities on military, navy, air force action. It could take different forms. What different forms it can take? Let's have a look. The very first thing is military action on the borderlines. Now, the problem with this thing is this would be one, very costly if this option is taken off. Second one, the kind of economic situation, socio-political and economic situation Pakistan is. This route Pakistan would normally avoid. And the next thing, the Pakistan is facing instability within its own country. Let it be from Balochistan, let it be among its other provinces. So this kind of military action looks very unlikely. However, across the LOC, Pakistan, there have been reports that Pakistan has started firing, or the normal firing which keeps on going on. Pakistan has started with that. But a full-fledged military action, Pakistan would have to be out of her mind to take this military part. However, this action cannot be discounted upon. But having said that, let us be assured the kind of planning which has gone in, I am very much sure that our nation's leader would have taken this into account. Now, next come the asymmetric warfare, and this is where the mastery of Pakistan's lie. Pakistan taking something head on, taking something, on the borders, or taking a military action, which we were discussing in the previous slide, would hesitate to avoid. Rather, what Pakistan might do, what they term is as two things, I'll quote. One, use the non-state actors, which is the favorite word for retaliation. And the second one, terrorist, which they have been using to bleed India. And third one, they could activate the sleeper cells. So these kind of asymmetric warfare Pakistan could take. Why so? It is effective for them. They have been doing this from many years, and at the same time they have mastery over it. And this is one front of the war where it could be that they are better than us, because of course we have not taken, but all our people that nameless, that those cylinder blast and all those things, we cannot discount upon that. And but having said all these things, I'd like to bring your attention to one point, that the sites which were targeted in Operation Sindoor, they were terrorist sites. So using terrorist as a pawn in the asymmetric warfare, I doubt how much would those terrorists have the alacrity to participate, given that they have been marked down, they have been taken down, and they know that if they do anything, retaliation is going to come on them. Next thing, diplomatic and economic measures. Now, if any one of you who is reading newspapers these days, India has very nicely balanced all the stakeholders. For example, the very first thing, the UNSC platform which Pakistan might try to use, with the help of whom? China, the permanent member, and Pakistan as of now, among the 15 members, it is a non-permanent member there. But getting a veto from China or getting China to escalate this matter remains a possibility. But India has done two things very well. One, it has taken USA into confidence. And as of now, how it looks, Russia, in the worst of the worst scenario, would not interfere, let our country take our own measures to happen. Now the economic measures, this is where something comes noteworthy. Why noteworthy? Because Pakistan is a lost state. Pakistan, in economic terms, if I have to put it, I'll call Pakistan NPA, where except for China, due to her investment, nobody else would be interested, at least when it comes to warfare, though it is having a strategic position, a strategic geolocation that Pakistan is having, that remains to be seen. It would be kept on using as a pawn, but I think in the military conflict, somebody going on the Pakistan side for economic thing would not be a wise decision. USA, on the one more side, that how it could be counterbalanced is via the reduction of traffics, and same goes for China. If we provide trade to China, let's say for the next few months, we just lower down the tariff rates with China, why would China interfere? China has already provided loans where it is not getting any recovery. China, because of Pakistan, would be losing an opportunity of trade with India. This trade thing India can leverage upon, and how India can counter it balance? India can counter it balance with the pitch which it has given some time ago. On overtly, you deal with China, you just say that let's have better trade deals, but covertly within your nation, it could be that let's promote our own products, let's promote Make in India. So this way you can manage the optics as well as the reality. Now coming back next, the constraints. The constraints are multiple on the Pakistan side, not with us. Why? Because this has been set up as such a chess move where no matter what Pakistan does, Pakistan acts in whichever manner, or even if Pakistan decides not to act, Pakistan is in a very pernicious position. Now, coming to the next thing, diplomatic fallout thing. Now, diplomatic fallout, there are two things, India and Pakistan, but I think the relationship has hit such a rock bottom that it cannot go anywhere much worse than this. There could be no lower depth which the relationship could achieve. India is in no mood to engage with Pakistan because there's literally nothing to gain from engaging with Pakistan. The more liberal, the more open we have been with Pakistan, history is testimony that we have been always betrayed. And given the current mood of the dispensation, the current mood of the government, I highly doubt that this path would be taken. International level, as discussed before, we have set the pieces in a better manner. We have dealt with things in better manner than Pakistan. So the diplomatic fallout within India and Pakistan, it could not go any worse. For India, with other nations, I think we are well managed, with the exception of China. Now, domestic and political implications. Now, domestic mood, as I can see within our country, is overwhelmingly behind the government across all political, religious, and society. Keeping all these fault lines aside, everybody is of the opinion that there should have been an action to have deterrence on the side of from the side of Pakistan. Everybody is aligned with this thing, no matter from which ideology they belong, which party they belong. Everybody is together in this on India's side. Among the Pakistani side, among the masses, among the people, there would be difference of opinion. There would be a deep dissatisfaction, a disenchantment with their own dispensation, and hence the pressure would be too much on the Pakistani leadership to retaliate, to act. However, within the Pakistani leadership itself, they would be in dilemma what to do, what not to do. So the catch-22 phrase which I used, the fallouts are too many for Pakistan. Regional and global implications, regional instability within the South Asian nations, especially in the subcontinent with India and its borders. So the regional instability is increasing. Global impact, if I would say, at a global level, I would say that there are multiple issues which are going on. Israel dealing with Syria, Israel dealing with Palestine, then you have Russia-Ukraine issue. Among the Indian border, you have an unstable Bangladesh. There is insurgency happening, which is happening in Myanmar. There are multiple issues. However, one thing I have found out, or one thing I feel so, just let me know how much this opinion resonates with you. I think that the world has learned to live with this new order of conflict. The conflict would keep on happening. For example, especially when I was seeing today's market, I mean, the full-fledged war has happened, but when I was seeing our stock exchanges, they were acting as if things are normal. The daily routine was happening. So it could indicate two things. Either the world has adjusted to this new normal where there would be conflicts going on, where there would be instability, and we will be going through, which I think is going to happen in both regional and global impact. Both things would keep on going on side and side. The extent and the intensity of this conflict would determine what further contours we are going to take. But as of now, as of I feel, a full-fledged retaliation or further instability, if Pakistan should not be provoking, if they are going to provoking, they have to be out of their mind, which Pakistan being Pakistan, I do not deny. But still, let's hope that better sense would prevail. And having said all these things, I'll be ending with this thing, that from the Indian side, the confidence, the josh, each and everything is high, and the message is, picture abhi baki hai. So now it's Pakistan moves, what they do, what they say. We as a neighbor will just wish that better sense would prevail from the Pakistani side. Operation Sindoor, once again concluding it, it was needed to leave a message, to give a message to those terrorists, and also as a solace for all those 26 people who were killed on 22nd April. So dear friends, I just hope this would have added some value and information, and do let me know what you think on this matter. I'll be back with you again with new topics, something better to discuss and debate upon. Till then, take care of yourself. I'll see you again. Bye bye.